What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 22 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Tiktaq'to Immortal Empires Expanded campaign. So as we saw last time, the Yamaboro Riders made their debut both into the campaign and into my heart, because they're definitely my favorite modded unit appearance-wise that I have seen, because they are just so magnificent and pretty darn strong too. Their armor is decently high, though they are still fragile enough that they don't feel too overpowered, at least without healing. And sadly, we probably won't have enough room in this particular army to get any healing crystals or revive crystals, so we're just going to have to deal with potentially getting wounded and playing it dangerously, but perhaps that is the nature of devoting your life to the flame. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this particular turn, there was a reason I didn't end it last time, and as usual I don't, actually I was about to say as usual I don't remember what it was, but I do. We are besieging Zarmuta here, and therefore as soon as we end the turn, the enemy should sally out and in theory attack us. And then, of course, be destroyed, as usual, and then at that point we will be able to have this particular territory and then start sailing southward. We are about to soon start attacking the Blooded Wanderers from 3 different directions at once, which is both appropriate and probably needed in this particular situation, as obviously they occupy a territory that is in the middle of our territory, and thus they could attack in various directions, which is pretty dangerous. Anyway, there we go. They will indeed sally out. Close victory and casualties low, but I don't think Gorok will have the opportunity to ever fight Chaos again. Well, no, he'll fight Chaos, but he won't have the opportunity to fight Chaos Dwarfs again, so we should take this one. And see how the turtles, I mean, dwarfs should appreciate a good turtle, right? Their whole, a lot of their fighting ethos, especially turtle guns, is represented by what turtle guns are, so, you know. Hunchy's Blessed Totem doesn't really work on anybody in this army. I'm going to give this to another army. Probably Tyrannicon's army, to be perfectly honest, because it's going to be our Cav army. Anyway, go. Alrighty, here we go, Saurus versus Chaos Dwarfs. I don't see why not. Kind of a, to some degree, appropriate matchup. Dwarfs being known for being strong on the defense as well. Let's see how they fare against our Saurus and our Turtles, who, now that they're level 4, getting so close to that rank 5, and finally getting their gunners. But yeah, it takes forever to level these guys up, my lord. But considering they effectively do no damage and only take hits, it does make sense. I do feel like they should give bonus XP based on damage taken, maybe. To some units. There's different ways to get XP after all. Huh. Wait, so how do war drums, for example, gain XP? Like support units, generally speaking. Just through auto-resolves? I don't know. Anyway, we lead the charge with the Turtles, who obviously take the charge from the enemy at the same time, and then the Saurus move in through the middle of their ranks. The main lines clash as the Chaos Dwarfs drive their labor force forward. And, unfortunately for them, leave their artillery pieces unprotected. Granted, it's mostly hobgob bolt throwers, and these things are just really not very threatening, so all good. And they'll get destroyed rather quickly by our Fire Leech Bolas. Fire Leech Bolas, of course, would be a lot less effective against the Chaos Dwarfs due to their massive anti-fire or fire resistance, which the hobgobs don't have. And in the meantime, our Predactyl Riders are going after the actual threatening artillery piece, which is that Deathshriek rocket launcher. Lovely. Otherwise, it's just a big old-fashioned brawl between Saurus and the Chaos Warriors. Turtle's doing something, I'm sure. Taking hits most, and Gorok keeps trying to move towards the enemy lord, who he just keeps running away from him, unfortunately. But lords have a tendency, I spoke too soon. Maybe he just wants to cycle charge. He's back to fight Gorok. Well, good luck to you, Overseer. I don't think you're gonna have a bad day. Yeah, it looks like he wants to cycle charge. So he charges in, gets a couple hits in, and then goes back in. Alright, well, good luck with that. I don't know how well it's gonna work out for you. Oh, we do have some Bull Centaur renders over on the right flank, and a unit of Blessed Warriors, 2 units of Blessed Warriors holding them off. Fortunately, they should be taking out the Chaos and Dwarf Warriors, and it's actually just a giant pile of Chaos Dwarf Warriors with those renders. But regardless of the fact that we have, what? What's the armor-piercing weapon damage on the Saurus? It's not 25, still solid. The thing about the Saurus is that, in theory, they have a lot more. Like, they're not technically an armor-piercing unit, with only half as much armor-piercing as non-armor-piercing base weapon damage, but their damage is so high, at 77, twice as high nearly than that of the Chaos Dwarfs, despite being sword and board variant, that they still do plenty of armor piercing just by virtue of that, and then you can get it to climb even higher than that. That's one of the things that makes Saurus great basically throughout the game, from the very beginning to the very end, even if they're in theory a tier. And, well, these guys are Blessed Saurus Warriors, so they're tier 3 rather than 2, but, yeah, you know. They're very good is what I'm getting at, and they see those Chaos Dwarf Warriors off and the Bull Centaur renders off with just those 2 units. Make them bleed and tear them apart, and, yeah, 31,000 damage on 1 unit. For example, the same story is repeating itself all across the battlefield as the enemy are just getting torn to shreds. I do believe the enemy lord has been defeated, though perhaps surprisingly not by Gorok, as he didn't want to engage with him. Instead, he was ridden down by Gorok's Saurus Scarvet. And again, I really like the sort of orange color scheme that these guys have with Tlaqua. It's neat. It makes them a little bit easier to pick out on the battlefield with the orange scales. Go figure. And it also makes them stand out a lot more from the ranks of the regular Saurus units. But I digress. With that, the enemy army is shattered, and the battle is ours. Chaos Dwarfs very far from Jarna Grund here, but well, I don't think they'll be getting back there. Ooh, glittering scales. That's a nice find that's our first one throughout this campaign. We will definitely put that to use, maybe even in this army. Though it's just kind of leaning further in to what makes this army already strong. Anyway, experience required for the next level 1,000, 1.6k, and 744. Alright, getting there, slowly but surely. Too bad that there isn't a bonus XP thing reward here. Anyway, we'll have to auto-resolve what remains of the enemy, and I mean, we're not so damaged that I think we can't take the money anyway, so let's take the money anyway. And, oh wow. That's a lot of schemes of doom. Haven do be scheming, go figure. Cold one for Tuatara, ready for duty. Oh, right, the one tech thief that failed and died. Can you go to Chakwa? We'll start with you. You can go to Quitash, you can go to Lanchla. And there we go. And hello, Nova Engines. Yes, and a fair few of them. And the Bahalas. Yes. Okay, wait. We'll deal with that in a second. Steel tag. Good. Check. We will take, I guess, the sequence of known purpose for now. And just for the additional heroes. Then, quickly, let's get to the... Oh. I hate when they do that, because then the next turn they're going to annoyingly besiege us. I feel like if they failed to sally out, they should no longer be able to escape. But anyway, unresolved. And occupy. Free potion of healing, nice find. And ooh, one of the turtles is getting there. It's close. Slanashi giggle. Anyway, horned one for Mazda Conquo. Good for Mazda Conquo, I guess. You will go into alignment to monuments for obvious reasons, and then we'll immediately upgrade Zarmuta. It's gonna take a long time to build anything there, but it's not like it's super critical anyway. The important thing is this. I guess what's the best way to do this? So now that we have the Nova engines available, we can just recruit a couple of them rather than bothering to slowly level the Crichtonoth, and I think I'd rather do that. So, you, my friend, are gonna go here. Tech Thief, we'll deal with you guys in a second. You go here. I would like you to take these two, to take all of the skink cohorts. Leave this one skink cohort because it will be replaced. 18 out of 20, wait. Why is it 18? Oh, yeah, wait, 18 out of 20, that's fine. That skin cohort will be replaced by this fella with the Star Gift. Good lord, you're taking a long time to get there. But it's okay. It's not like he's very critical to the army composition or anything like that. Then we'll immediately hatch a couple of those eggs with those Nova engines. Lovely. And then these guys, I guess, will upgrade. Because they're already at level 5, they'll be at rank 6 quite soon, I'd wager. Oh, you know, before trading, I should have popped you in here and then put you into a camp stand so you didn't suffer attrition. Oh, well, not a big deal. And then we'll see if we can put these guys to use in another army if we send them down here. Hopefully. Anyway, you go to Mount Seno. You have 26 turns, so I think you can start sailing to a new place. One of you go to the Lost Isles of Elthis, one of you go northward here, and then one of you go up here. There's like a bunch of Chaos factions here. Khorne, Slaanesh, I think I saw Nurgle, and vampires as well. So lots of corrupty stuff, which should mean that Oshiotla should have plenty of fun there. Anyway, let's move everybody else around while we're here. Tiktaqto, go to Pig Barter. And Grimgor is taken. Okay, well, this peels us away from Kugath, unfortunately, but maybe Tiktaqto can stop him in his place. Can you... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You're out of range by like half a... Okay, that's annoying. I guess you're gonna go right there. We're not gonna go into ambush. I'd like to retake Fortress of Vorag from Grimgor immediately, which means I guess we'll want to declare war on him. He might actually attack us because he has a Wa and a full army, and we're damaged, so why not bait him into it? Alright. Imric, I guess, will join up. It's a bit weird that Lizardmen can't vassalize. I feel like, especially with like elves and stuff like that, they should be able to vassalize them. What do I know? Oh, Europe. Let me just see. Grimgor is also at war with the war host of Jar. Oh, wow, he's pretty far away from those guys anyway. Join war against Grimgor, sure. We're not going to take your money. You need every penny you can get, especially since you're fighting clan Moors at the same time, Imric. Alright, well, I'm expecting Grimgor to attempt this, so I can't believe we're just slightly out of range. If only we had... No, 6 more turns until the right of Zunki. Oh, well, that's fine. Let's get a move on. Izozyme, you are going through... let's go into March Stance thing. Go into the sea lane. Actually don't know whether it would be better to go through it in March Stance or not, but that's what we're doing, so too late to think about it now. Away. Alright, and you'll pop up. I actually even forgot to check where exactly the sea lane goes, but I suppose it doesn't matter over much. Ashiotla, you are going southward. Gonna suffer a turn of attrition, I guess? Just slightly, yeah. Right, just at the tip of the attrition territory. Oh well. You're going here. I guess we'll use a turn to heal up after the attrition, and then you'll move. Also, you... What do we have here? Sinhal Monolith, you will not be ready for anything for a while, but we want to go back here to Mount Athol. 14 turns to build that geomantic locus. Delete the building here and then replace it with... I don't remember what, but it'll be something. And then Demon's Gate is nowhere near to tier 5. This place is kind of getting there, but it's rather far, and I think we're better off pushing northward into Lustria proper for that. Ooh, also speaking of Lustria, minus 14. That's not bad. If we could only trade you a settlement to get you to declare war on like a dozen factions, you'd probably confed. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Last Defenders won a defensive alliance now. Huh, I wonder if that means they're doing poorly against the... Yeah, it looks like they lost one of their main stacks against the Court of Libara. Still not willing to confed, surprisingly, considering at 128 they like us a decent bit. Go figure. Well, hopefully eventually. I'd rather have Nakai, to be perfectly honest, just by, I don't know, since we're a skink lord, I'd kind of want to have Nakai because, you know, skinks and Kroxagors, the besties. Anyway, you, Washti, you're gonna go here. We want you to have at least 1 more Bahalas, maybe 2, depending. Start with 1, they're stupidly expensive to recruit, and we do still have buildings to build. I might do 1 more and then 2 more Amicants, depending on what your army is going to look like otherwise. You're going to want to... Actually, you know what? You go channel. We will have Mr. Kale Kano recruit for you while you're here. I'm gonna get you some Saurus. Maybe we should keep a couple of the Chameleon Stalkers to move with these blobs? I don't know, I'll think about it. Wow, these are expensive. You will go into bonded service, at least 1 point, better than nothing. Alright, we'll have you recruit in a second, assuming we have money remaining after we do the other stuff. What else do we have available, incidentally? We did the 2 Nova engines. I might put a couple more into an all-ranged army that isn't dependent on, you know, being fire damage eventually. But for now, it's not critical. What is critical is getting another convoy up and running. Alright, this one I believe we have to send to Great Turtle Isle, because we need one more... Yeah, we need one more herd extraction in order to unlock this guy. Big old flying snake. Probably going to pop him into Tehennwen's army as the avatar of Sotek. And just by virtue of what he looks like. Yeah, so you, Chitin Convoy, you're going to go to the Great Turtle Isle. So I'll add Master. And hopefully that'll unlock this adversary. Great Turtle Isle. Like so. And what was it again? Herd extraction? Yes. Alright, dispatch. Chitin Convoy. Like so, and herd extraction. Oh, you're not even able to do the other thing anyway, only the other guy's able to, so yeah, that's fine. Alrighty, looks good to me. Okay, I'm so salty that this is just like a tiny bit of attrition. If you could increase... Nah. I was about to say, if you could increase the movement slightly, but it looks like you're maxed out on that anyway. You have an anti-attrition thing, don't you? Hey. Oh, it's on armies in province. I think that won't work, but let's give it a shot. Will this give you a tiny amount of movement? It will not. Damn. I guess the entire sea doesn't count as a territory. Fine, game. Fine. Anyway, let's keep everybody moving. As Latata and Tyrannicon, you are going to land here. Like so. Then I'm going to say... You know what? I'm going to just... Okay, it's going to take too long to level these guys. Like, it's going to be like 50 more turns, and the campaign will end by then. So I'm just going to take the Quetgar's Wanderer's name and pretend that we transfer them to one of these guys. Go for the horned ones. Let's just pretend that they evolved into them. I like the idea, it's just that we don't have the time. Quetgar's Wanderers. They inherit the name. Like so, and then you can just... well, actually, maybe we can give that to these guys. Alright, both of you go northward. Like so, and like so. You will still need to be given other troops, but you're probably strong enough to fight at least some stuff for now. And we could get some blessed troops in here, like a blessed horned one, and then maybe even eventually upgrade these guys to a blessed horned one as well. Plus the Yhelok, which we don't have yet, but we'll do an expedition to grab them as soon as we can. Alright, anyway, let's keep everybody else moving. Digga and Co. Tehennwen, you can reach Great Turtle Isle, though severely damaged as you are. Oh, I didn't do the tech thievery. Okay, my bad. Start with the tech thievery. It's still necessary, but eventually it will no longer... Oh, wait. Huh? Oh, I must have moved all but one tech thief. Okay, fine. Never mind then. We could heal for another turn or go for Great Turtle Isle. They will probably sally out, considering they've got a black dragon and, you know, good stuff in there. Might be an interesting fight just by virtue of the fact that we're damaged. Oh, we can't reach it, unless you can. You can besiege it, and then they'll sally out and attack you. Oh, Rakarth is back. Wait. Tehennwen, you have the defeat trait for him, yes? Beastmaster of none. Digga, you do not. So I guess we'll want Digga to get the defeat trait. Yeah, fine. Alright, fine. We'll wait the turn. It's not a big deal. You go into an camp stance. You go here. It's still in enemy territory, but I imagine we should still heal pretty okayly. Yeah, actually we heal better. Ugh, again, it's silly. You two. Follow Tehennwen. We'll move on in next turn. Probably should upgrade these Feral Basties to Healy Basties as well. Tehennwen has a couple of those. It's not the most critical thing, but nonetheless. You two will be upgraded. Nope, you two will be upgraded like so. Beautiful. Gotta have those in the Lifeslan army after all. Actually, speaking of Lifeslan, you can go into a camp stance and heal them because you've channeled your max. Also, speaking of the Lifeslan army, you are going to get the Amixon Barb. And you're going to get more Blessed Razordawn hunting packs, and you're also going to get a... Can we get one now? No, next turn. You are also going to get... I don't remember what they were called, but the mod offers some units that are of a similar type, so we will, you know, combine those. Anyway, that's about it for the moving. Let's do the building. such as it is. Ooh, yes, definitely upgrade the Sea Dragon's Teeth. And the Crocscore Labor District, and another one of these medicinal plants, and that's all we got here. And frankly, we barely have any money remaining after all those new unit recruitments. But, you know, it is what it is. Not in a bad way. You... Okay, we need one of these. Wait. No, we need one of these. Spawn Pools of the Chosen. So we're going to build it here. And just because we need to build one somewhere, a tier 4, because that will unlock the last of these, the sequence of infiltration. And otherwise, I believe we're good to go. No, we already checked Diplo, so we can skip, and now we can end the turn. Anywhere where we can get attacked. Oh, it looks like a Skulltaker is heading towards Albrecht because you have foolishly gone to Bregun, which is ours, not yours. If you leave the settlement... I'm confused as to where the land will be. Oh, this is sea? So this is land, right? I genuinely can't tell. This thing has a port, but I can't tell where the ground is and where... Ah, okay, so this is all ground? Wait, no, this isn't ground. Or is it? Province. Okay, this is not... Anything that says province is ground. So this is sea, and this is ground. Okay, so I want to go onto ground. There you go. And then I would like you to channel. If you're wondering why, it's because these guys will most likely besiege us because it's their last... Oh, actually, they won't. Well, we should channel nonetheless. I forgot that they still have Temple of Kara. You could have taken that. You're useless. End turn. At this point, I'm also saving Shield of Eons, the quest battle for Gorok, until we get those turtles with guns. I feel like I want them for his quest battle. No, Teclis. You started this. Finish your stupid war against our former potential allies. And frankly, if they keep damaging the Kingdom of Beasts or the Last Defenders, or rather, that could actually work in our favor. So yeah, just keep letting them do that. Alright, here comes another Confederation check. Let's see if we can get one. Alright, what do we have here? Add another Skink Oracle. Yeah, we can get a Skink Oracle, yes. And Pyrrhic Victory. Yeah, Alright, this army has 2 Skink Chiefs. I should remove one. Alright, remove one after. Yeah, the Wood Elf armies are generally a fairly tough fight just by virtue of the devastating units they have. So we'll fight it again. This time, this army doesn't have the hunger, so they're going to be a lot more dangerous than they were for the other army. Go. Alright, looks like I missed the little guy's speech, but, well, what can you do? Anyway, here we go. Fight against the Wood Elves is always a dangerous thing, and, well, even more so when you don't have the hunger to rely upon. Look at those darn wild riders. They were going after our lord, so we try to poison them, slow them down, and then get the Ripperdactyls in their way. They don't care about any of that. They still charge on through and do 25% damage to one of the units of Chameleon Stalkers, despite all that. Basically, and as usual with the Wood Elf fights, we have to devote all of our resources, or as much of them as possible, to dealing with those wild riders, and just like the Chameleon Stalkers, they just charge directly through a unit of Saurus, taking about 30%. Okay, they're still doing damage, 40%, 50% of their HP and damage. Okay, good lord, we need to help those Saurus. And this is why I'm devoting so many resources, just like the Grail Knights and Guardians. We can't let these guys deal damage. They are fragile, but they do so much damage on the charge. Alright. 17 kills, 9,000 damage in, I don't know, a few seconds. Anyway, with one unit out, the units of Ripperdactyls will close, try to pin a few of them in place, and maybe just pin the unit in combat while we just try to surround and destroy them. Unfortunately, that has allowed the other enemy units to arrive on the battlefield, and some Eternal Guard are now pinning the Saurus in place with, well, actually fairly big numbers. Since they want to blob up like that, we're going to punish them for it by using WH2 DLC 17 unit contact ? I.e. the Sotek effect, whatever it's called. It's a little tiny sort of mini damaging vortex on them. which apparently doesn't have the tooltip name. But anyway, it looks like we've finally managed to kill off all of the Wild Riders at last, and we'll make sure we chase them down while we deal with the other unit. The Skink Oracle has pushed its Troglodyte into melee to help the Kroxigors bring down these extremely tanky Shuriken. Probably one of the few monstrous infantry that are going to be tankier than Kroxigors in a direct contest. Otherwise, we do still have the War Dancers to contend with, and I'm sure they will mince already up to nearly 70. They will mince many a unit of Chameleon Stalkers, or at least they would have if their army had not shattered. We may not have been looking at the Ancient Salamanders, but they probably actually got the most kills here in this particular battle, because while we were dealing with the War Dancers, with the Eternal Guard, with the Wild Riders, the Ancient Salamanders expended all their ammunition, killing off all of those enemy range units while they were attempting to fire at us, and pretty effectively so. And these are the regular variants, not the split-shot variants, but as we can see, they do plenty of work, and the units that survive their volleys simply burn alive instead. Beautiful. Alrighty, there we go. Very dangerous battle, a close victory. We saw several units take massive damage from those Wild Rider charges. One of them just charged through a Saurus Spear unit, didn't care at all. Took about half of their HP and just kept on going. On the bright side, though, the two Ancient Salamanders continue to do great work in this army, and we survived despite not having the hunger like the other army does to keep us healthy. I think we're going to need to kill an 8 here, though. This is, I mean, the other army is level 20 and this one's level 13. There's a pretty big difference there. Oh, something happened. Wait, what was that? Technology research. Yes, good for technology. We will leave the rest of this alone, and now I believe we were going to move through to skinks. It's time to power up all of our skinks, including those within the expedition armies. Speaking of, I hope you have leveled based off of that. Looks like you have. What do we have here? We need to get 2 points into Studious so that you can heal. There's other important stuff here, but you need to be able to heal in enemy territory. It's pretty darn critical right now. What is this? Oh! I didn't realize we were all the way out here. That's kind of funny. How much money will you give us to peace out? 6k? Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, yeah, we could just wipe them out, but 6k. We still need money after all. Anyway, Tehenowen now. Ooh, you've leveled up. You have the good stuff. We got Beast Driver to move through now. Yes. Alrighty, then how are you guys doing in terms of levels? Oh, you know what? Speaking of, you will lose one of the Skink Chiefs because they're not good. And disband. And Yamaboro, okay, out of curiosity, let me just see the actual army panel. You. What level do Yamaboro need to be upgraded to Riders rank 5? Okay, it would be nice to have them there, though, yeah, they'll help out this army. Anyway, Tehenowen, besiege the place. After the Tech Thief does the thieving. There you go. Now Tehenowen, besiege the place. Alright, and then just sit there. These guys got Black Guard, Black Dragon, Dread Knights, Hydra. There's some good stuff. You will still move in to reinforce. I guess, in camp now that your channeling is maxed. And I guess not Chitin, but you, Digga, will do so as well. I'm gonna hope that they're still willing to sally out, because the game should think the Red Crests are weak. It's a Spirit Victory now. I'll give them a chance. The reason I think they'll still sally out is because Rakarth isn't running. He normally might be. And if he doesn't, we can always attack the place directly, so it still works. Anyway, Tiktaq'to, where be Grimgor? He ran away like a pathetic coward, despite the fact that we declared war on him. Why are you a pathetic coward, Grimgor? What is this? Why are you like this? Looks like he wants to take Bone Gulch. I really did not want to be chasing you around, guy, especially since now Kukath is coming down here. Okay, we're gonna retake the Fortress of Vorag and occupy it. You know what I should have done? I should have sacked it because we have a quest. Yeah, next time. Anyway, you get out of there and then go into channeling. Well, let's see if Grimgor goes after you, though it looks like he's too scared, but we can move pretty quick. Yeah, the elves are in trouble. Their territories are in a bad state. Kugath. I really wish that Grimgor had gone after us so we could go back this way. He's ignoring scrap towers by the looks of it. Now we could, you know, hatch some eggs and then pop a defensive garrison into Shattered Stone Bay, but I fear that his army will be too elite to deal with unless we hatch some ridiculous stuff. What do we have as options again, just out of curiosity? Anything? I mean, we could get a couple of Kryptonoths with Nova engines to help and then some other stuff, but basically use all of our money for it. You know, I'm gonna think about it. Because it's gonna cost more than it would to just rebuild that particular location, especially since we haven't invested in it all that much. Kind of about it. Anyway, you encamp and then move towards the Lantern of Lies. And then you... sit in Hollow Benediction for now, and I will think... Well, I guess you can advance together with Anzi and... you may transfer those guys to some other army at some point, so there may be use for them. You are going to the Lost Isles of Elthis. Want to see what's going on over there. And we may as well move everybody else around. So you... get that star gift where it needs to go. Tech Thieves. Ooh, you've reached rank 10, meaning more tech thievery. Isn't that lovely? Steel Tech. And Steel Tech. And I think there was the new one. Well, the old one that is new by virtue of having come back, and then Steel Tech again. You were wounded for 8 turns? Huh, I guess I never got the gift of whatever there. Tiktaqto. You know what? We can reset you. We're gonna go for Specialist and Block Army. I should have started with that, to be perfectly honest. We'll reset Tiktaqto after. Try this. Hopefully you'll succeed. I wonder if I can keep him out of range of Shattered Stone Bay for at least 1 turn. That'd be nice. It won't if you fail. Oh, come on, Tiktaqto. What is this? Well, I still haven't decided on that, so we'll just leave it as it is for now. Washti, you are waiting for Kael Kano to recruit, though I don't know whether we have the money to do it. Gorok. I guess the question for you is, do we go for Skulltaker or do we go for Temple of Kara? Let's go here between them, sort of. Slaneshi giggle, and then we will choose. If you take Ganina, we'll have Gorok kill Skulltaker. If he doesn't, then we'll go to Temple of Kara. And hopefully you don't take Burgun, because it'll seal your fate. I don't think the AI is aware of this, but we are pretty aware. Anyway, and it's Latata and Tyrannicon. Go north. And you both have places to be. Tehenaman is good because they will sally out as soon as we end the turn, and Ashiotla, you have 2 things to do. The first is to land here, and then grab another Blessed Chameleon Skirmisher, I should say. And now it looks like you can't reach us in 1 turn, and, well, you can channel at least. At least it's something. And then, oh, next turn. Alright, fair enough. Move. Okay, you can't move any closer. Just sit there, then. I guess we'll travel through slightly damaged. It's not a big deal. You're probably going to recruit Quetgar. You need to be here for building purposes. I don't remember what I wanted to build here. We deleted the Pyramid Vaults because... oh, because it's at the edge, meaning it's only at 10% for this particular territory. It is still public order, but there's probably better stuff that we can build. Temple of Reviv gives us melee and missile damage for all blessed units faction-wide. I find the Star Chambers are actually relatively useless because you need a lot of them, like a huge amount of them, 1 in every territory. And, I mean, by the time this runs its course, it'll be 23 turns. We'll be so close to the end of the campaign that we probably won't be able to use another Slan Awakening anyway. Meaning we're better off building the Pools of Healing and Temple of Reviv instead. Not that it's super critical either. But yeah. And you need to stay here to upgrade it to the final level. That'll be 6 turns. And then it'll be 2 turns for this. We may need it here more than out here, in theory. Oh, Wishel is nearly... well, it's gonna take you too long to travel up there, isn't it? Like 4 turns, so we're better off just building it rather than moving there. Though that will mean we'll be able to upgrade stuff to tier 5 as soon as this is up, which is gonna take 5 turns, which is the exact time it takes you to travel there, meaning, yeah, alright, begin the traveling. Fair enough. We're outie. We've got other things to do with Quetgar. Besides, this will be closer to where we can get him an army, so that also makes sense. Anyway, I believe other than Washti, who's stuck where he is, that's pretty much all. We can't attack Tlaqua yet because we need it. And now we have to make the decision about Kugath. I have lost my place, alright. What do we have in terms of defenders here? And just a pile of skinks, which will get obliterated by Uncle Furuncle and Kugath himself and other stuff. We do have the money to hatch some eggs should we desire it. We have... Do we have anything interesting? But Jurek, you do have the Blessed by Kashwatan trait, which is nice. Alright, you're going here. Most of what we have here are now extra units, so let's see if we can defend. We did need another army here. Not necessarily with the Nova engines, but frankly, we will need the Nova engines to try to win this. We might need the turtles. We do have a couple of extra Bahalases for the anti-large, so let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, no, not Yamaboro. I wanted them in another army. Let's... wait, recruit this. We have 12,000 gold remaining. This is probably not enough, depending on what kind of elites he has in his army. We need more anti-large. I'd like to save the Bahalas. We get some cheap Hiriaros, because I don't have a space for them in another army, but they're gonna be completely useless against Nurglite forces, so kind of, We could maybe get some value out of regular Parazors, as I don't intend to put them elsewhere, and let's get a couple of Kryptonauts as well. Alright, and now we got a pile of dinos in here. Will it be enough to survive? I don't know. We don't really have any more money anyway. I'm just taking a look at if there's anything out of this that we might want to get here, but well, no, this is kind of a waste. We could get a couple of cheap Blessed Skin cohorts, only 100 gold, or 100 Blessed whatever. Yeah, let's get a couple of them. Alright, we're not going to waste alignments on them, though. I feel like it's a waste. Especially if we don't necessarily keep them here. Anyway, that at least gives us effectively a full stack. Not the strongest one, but enough dinos to maybe hold out. I guess we're about to find out. Inspiring Presence and Route Marcher? No. Go for Beast Driver, I guess. Wait, does this upgrade Nova engines? No? Wait. I missed them? They're right there. Alright. Go for Beast Driver. Alright, good enough. Or at least I hope it's good enough. I'm not giving you any items in case you die. The rest of the units are all spares, and we have no money. Still annoyed at Grimgor for being a coward. Skip, 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 skip. And I believe we're ready to end the turn. Huh. If he can't actually... I'm pretty sure he can reach us, but if he can't... Oh, we could switch to alignment of... I was about to say alignment of war. It does give us an additional 15% weapon strength in this particular location. Yeah, why not? If he can't reach it in one turn... Yeah, see, if Teto had succeeded in the... Yeah. But oh well. I guess we just risk upgrading the Holy Ziggurat? Why not? Why not? Alright, good luck to you, sir. Otherwise, oh, you know what we can do? We can use a little bit in the way of alignments. Once again, go to Masteries of Tlaqua and get the bonus... bonus melee and missile weapon damage and charge bonus, Mastery of Ripperdactyls. It is only for the one turn, but, well, this is a turn where there's a decent likelihood of fighting. Go. Let's see what happens. Alright, close defeat, casualties high, but at least we'll get to try out these Nova engines and see how they function. First, it looks like they have a bigger range than the regular beams of Chotek. I wonder if they're just a different variant of it. What's a reload time on you? Out of curiosity. 16 seconds, so still pretty slow by the looks of it. Interesting. Go. Alrighty, here we go. We've got the debut of the Nova engine. Oh, wow, look at that. First hit does about 25% damage. Okay, these guys are going to get Fleshy Abundance, so they'll heal to full, but pretty hard hit to the enemy infantry. So yes, it looks like the Nova engines, probably appropriately named Nova for the explosions that they cause our anti-infantry blob units. We will test them out a little bit against the single entities. like Uncle Furuncle, like Kugath, like the Beasts of Nurgle, and possibly even the Chaos Knights. But it seems to me that they're going to be pretty effective against the infantry blobs. And fortunately for us, the enemy's got a long way to travel. Yeah, so that hit directly to the plague drones, and as we can see, did barely anything, like 200 damage to them. They'll actually heal it up, or just completely out-heal it, and before they get hit again. Whereas the infantry, maybe not so much. Right, it also seems like these, the projectiles, their versions of the Beam of Chotek travel a little bit slower than the versions of the, well, the regular beams of Chotek do. Go figure. Alright, well, we're going to try to annoy the enemy a little bit with our Skink Skirmishers. Unfortunately, these are the base variant, and they're terrible units, so we're just going to annoy the enemy and allow Kugath to attack them, rather than the more critical Skink cohorts we have waiting around. Alright, getting a shot on the Chaos Knights of Nurgle with our Nova engine now. Or at least tried to, but they're moving into the trees now, but that's alright. We've got more of those blobs of Plague Bearers to fire upon as they approach. Yeah, there we go, another nice hit. Yeah, they do about 20-25% damage to a blob of infantry with a single volley, and that's a single unit. If units were to blob up on top of each other, we could do even more. Sounds like, or looks like, these are going to be pretty darn effective. I'll keep firing away at the enemy. The constant shaking of them is a little bit annoying, but oh well, what can you do? And ooh, the enemy wants to silence those Nova engines, so they're going to pop a unit of Plague Bearers of Nurgle right on top of them. We're going to back it off. These unit on the right flank as well. Looks like it got charged by a unit of Plague Drones as well. We're going to try to back it up. Unfortunately, the Bahalas together with the Parasaurs over on the right flank will meet them in combat. And the anti-large of the Bahalas should allow it to tear through those Plague Drones without too much trouble. There we go. The enemy blobbed up one massive hit from 2 Nova engines. Saw these guys lose about 30% of their HP on several units at once. Beautiful. That said, the enemy is still very much on the approach, and the balance of power is still about 50-50, so it's about to get a lot more dangerous, as we're going to have to engage those Plague Bearers in melee, and obviously we don't have heavier infantry to actually defend against them. The enemy is limited in the way of anti-large units, so, it's gonna pop a Plague Boil on top of... Okay. I guess it did severely damage this one Skink cohort, but otherwise, weird use of that particular spell in that particular location. Anyway, the Chaos Knights charged us over all the way on the left flank, but fortunately for us and unfortunately for them, we had our second Bahalas and our other unit of Parasaurs waiting over on the left flank specifically to meet them. They charged in and then got pinned against our other units, and it looks like that unit will be destroyed. Our Nova engines have backed up behind our main line and are still firing away and doing plenty of damage, and by the looks of it, especially to any units that they can fire upon that aren't currently engaged with our own. I do imagine we wouldn't want to fire these things where our own units will get obliterated by them. Otherwise, we're trying to distract Kugath for as long as we can, so we summon the Skink Priest Avatar just to melee him for a little while. He won't last long because Kugath's actually very decent in melee. But every second that he's not firing on our Javelin Skink cohorts is a second that those Javelineers are able to apply their decently high damaging volleys. Specifically, we're having both of them focus down Uncle Furuncle. Ooh, that was a dangerous Nova Engine blast. That one a little bit less so, though. And Uncle Furuncle is having a pretty bad time with both of the blessed Skink cohorts focusing him down. He's down to nearly half of his HP. Working reasonably well, despite the fact that these guys don't have magical damage, but like I said in, I don't know, last episode was it? The Javelins, Blessed Javelins, are a lot more armor-piercing. Not that Uncle Furuncle has a lot of armor once it's sundered by their sundering. Either way, it works well. Anyway, on top of those javelins, he's now surrounded, getting hit by the Kryptonoth, as well as surrounded by a unit of Croxagors, and it looks like Furuncle will be brought down at last. At last. Stop laughing. Die when I tell you to. There he goes. Alrighty. Otherwise, the battle has shifted now to our favor with some critical enemy units knocked out, and he's still volleying a few of those projectiles from its exalted plague bearers at us, but it is allowing the Nova engines to keep firing at those units, which is still pretty valuable. In fact, they'd be better off heading into melee than just staying for the Nova engines to fire at them and, you know, delete the top half of them. Beautiful. Some very nice fire there. A unit has been wiped out somewhere, probably the Avatar, the Skink Priest Avatar, the second one. Or the first one, whichever. As they've been distracting Kugath. Well, fortunately, decently well. We've also used pretty much all the ammunition of the Pterodon Riders trying to damage Kugath, but he's by and large just out healing it. Maybe I should have just had them target the Beasts of Nurgle or help out with Uncle for Uncle or something instead. And though on the other hand, I suppose that by attacking Kugath and being closer in proximity to him, he's lobbing his own Nurgling projectiles at them rather than into our main blob, which is a good thing for us. Because we'd be a lot more vulnerable up here. Anyway, and Bahalis is still in the fight, trying to focus down that exalted hero. Or was that an exalted hero? No, it was just a Chaos Warrior. Okay, never mind. No, I'm trying to help out in general, I guess. I think it was focusing down another unit of Beasts of Nurgle, but it's been, you know, destroyed at this point. And it looks like the enemy's infantry are just about out of the picture. The bounce power is at about 70% in our favor now, just a little bit more work. And our front line will be cleared and soon, and as always, only Kugath will remain. I do say as always, as he's pretty much always the last unit on field and whenever you fight him. Harry the Hammer is also the same way. And what the heck? Oh! It was a Blight Boil. The way that the screen was looking at the Blight Boil, it looked like it just like... Kugath was behind it, so it looked like a bunch of gigantic tentacles just popped out of Kugath instead. It was kind of neat for a second, but I was like, what the heck? Did he just get a, I don't know, just has some kind of huge power-up? Anyway, now it looks like with that, the enemy army is done. Kugath begins melting away, still at half HP, having taken all of the range fire from all of the ammunition from the Pterodons. And probably a few more hits from a few other things. Great job to those Nova engines, though. They absolutely carried the day for us. Obviously, we still needed the other units to hold the line for them, but considering just how many of the enemy army was made, or how much of the enemy army was made up out of plague bearers and such, they did very, very well. And I guess against demons in particular, considering their magical damage projectiles, it's also quite nice. 267 armor-piercing base missile damage. Huh. Actually, their explosive damage looks lower than it should be, but they do plenty of damage. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell how a unit will perform just based solely on the stat like this, you know? But anyway, time to bring Kugath down. The Bahalis and both of the regular Krychtonov without the Nova engines will charge it. A little bit of help from our Saurus Scarvet as well. And there we go, Kugath will fall. At last, his Nurglings get crushed by his throne, which is kind of interesting. Wouldn't the throne be like a million times lighter if Kugath's gone? But maybe the only tether the little ones had onto the world was Kugath's presence, and once he was banished, they were banished as well. But I digress. A lovely fight, and we don't have to have Kugath dealt with by Tiktak. Ooh, alrighty, there we go, a close call, but it looks like we managed to pull off the defense. I was pretty darn happy with the performance of those Nova engines. It looks like they're pretty terrible at single target and damage, unlike the regular beams of Chotek on the Bastillodons with Solar Engine, as I tried to target them both at Kugath and the Beasts of Nurgle, and Uncle for Uncle, and they effectively did basically no damage, but they were magnificently effective at obliterating piles of plague bearers and the enemy infantry. So it looks like it's a long-range beam of Chotek that is more explosive than the regular, and thus less for sniping single entities and more for sniping or destroying blobs, which was pretty neat. One of the Bahalis took severe damage there, unfortunately, but otherwise certainly worth the damage. And the Ranger's Axe will come in handy on various units of ours. Healing is pretty insignificant, so I think we'll Ritual Purification and take the money. I love those Nova engines. A bit of an odd thing that we got to try them out first against the Nurglites with non-fire army. But I suppose burning down the Nurglites also makes sense. Rakarth's gonna offer peace, and then he will presumably, there it is, sally out against us. One last fight, eh, Rakarth? Good luck, sir. Oh, I just realized that I had besieged the place with Tehenowen, rather, who already has the defeat trait, eh? But it's too late to do anything now. He might still... If we retreat to Tehenowen, he might still attack, but Tehenowen might also retreat far enough away that, yeah, I can't risk it. Oh well, it's no big deal, go. Alrighty, looks like I missed Tehenowen's speech, but he often yells like a one-word speech, so it probably won't matter all that much here. Anyway, here we go, round 2 against Mr. Rakarth out here, and, well, I don't imagine he has much of a prayer this time around. He does have a second Black Dragon, but we're going to send Tehenowen to duel the Black Dragon first this time, and before Rakarth. We also do have to wait for our reinforcing army to arrive, and thus we may as well back off with the rest of our army while these two play around in the sky. Again, because we have a life slan moving in, we don't really care about Tehenowen taking massive amounts of damage in these fights, because we could just use recovery on him, as long as he has that healing cap. Also, the enemy is moving around with a pile of units blobbed up, which means a pretty darn nice target for us against them with the Flock of Doom. It also means that since they're heading down the ramp like this, rather than hiding in the jungle and waiting for them there to nullify the effectiveness of their range units, we may as well head on in and surround them instead. Alright, here we go, gonna get a Hydra Breath, which is, by the looks of it, just going to miss, and so is the Black Dragon Breath from Brachus. Lovely. Well, they just screwed themselves out of probably knocking out a ton of units, and the battle is thus probably going to go in our favor rather quickly. Looks like Tehenowen's fighting the Black Dragon still and winning decisively. Tehenowen also took some range fire, which the Black Dragon did not. But we've got our reinforcements now arriving on the field, and heals soon to be ready. Enemy moving in with an ancient stag. Or just a feral stag, rather. Not an ancient one. And as weird as it seems to see a traditionally lizard unit fighting against us, I don't imagine it'll be doing so for too long. Rakarth has now landed, fighting back-to-back with one of his Hydra pets in the center of the formation. Blackguard holding off the cohort of Sotek, as well as the rest of the Red Crests in the center line, but probably having a bad day now that we have the Shield of Thorns upgraded, or overcast on them, from our newly arrived Life Slan. Tehenowen has defeated the enemy Black Dragon at this point, and by the looks of it, will bring it down from the sky. Beautiful. Hey, you had to crush some skinks, didn't you? Sotek wills it, I guess. Anyway, here we go. Sauropods moving in as well. They just need a tiny, tiny bit more XP, and they're going to crash into the enemy's flanks and rear ranks, and hopefully that'll allow them to level up. Rakarth himself, together with the Hydra that he's been fighting with, are down to about half their HP, distracted by the Riprodactyl summon, as well as still surrounded by the piles of skink cohorts, which are staying in pretty darn good shape thanks to the Reviv Crystal and the constant heal spam from our Life Slan. Tehenowen now closing the distance with the Rakarth. Tehenowen took about half of his HP, or lost half of his HP, bringing down that Black Dragon, but one recovery later, and he's at full, while Rakarth is down to 20%. And it looks like the balance power has shifted to about 90% in our favor already, with the reinforcements having come in, javelin skinks firing, and those javelins of theirs, go figure, at the enemy. Together with those Razordons, means that the enemy's flanks are in trouble. Looks like Rakarth falls. I probably shouldn't have let Tehenowen kill him, but all good. We got his defeat rate on the on the lords that matter. I don't see the need nearly as much on the slan because they're rarely fighting in melee. With the possible exception of the life slan because again it heals itself so it isn't as in danger of getting surrounded and easily killed. Anyway, with that it looks like Rakarth's forces will shatter. The feral steg will rush to return to the forest and we'll do a little bit more running down of the enemy. Hey, there we go. Level 4 Sauropod and level 4 Sauropod and hopefully the other one will be as well. Beautiful. Alright, there we go. Rakarth failed pretty spectacularly on that one. Only 11 losses. Obviously, we didn't actually only suffer 11 losses, probably several hundred. But I mean, look, we got 49. Wow, solid kills on the Charybdis. 49 on Charybdis and some 50 between these three alone. And then probably, I don't know, maybe another nearly 100. So around 200 total. But obviously, with 4 Reviv crystals on field and the Life Slan healing everybody up. The enemy had no chance. We are going to auto-resolve the rest of this. Money is relatively minimal, but nonetheless we'll kill a need. I mean, we will kill a need because the money is relatively minimal. And hopefully, once we auto-resolve that, I saw the Sauropods hit their rank 4s. And there is one more to hit rank 4. I did also accidentally kill... Really, Grimgor, now? Now? Do you even deserve a fight? You know... This is kind of weak. I think it's not even worth fighting. That's sad. He shouldn't have run because he probably severely damaged the what remained of his army. He has 1 unit that can fire at us, and obviously the artillery, but they'll die instantly, and then his Wa is already destroyed. You're not worth it, Grimgor. You wasted our time, and now you are not going to be done the honor of actually getting a proper fight. You will just die. Goodbye. How dare he? And yes, I know it was Grimgor, but let's face it, it would have been a boring fight. He had no anti-air effectively and would have just gotten obliterated. Like nobody's business. And Firebeards whatevers, get out of here for now. Still don't know whether we're gonna be friendly with you. Alright, so now, several moments of truth. Okay, after we're done this, I guess. What do we have here? Blessed by Tepok, blessed by Do you not already have blessed? You do already have blessed by Chotek. It's just repeating it. I take it you don't have the frenzy one. Ooh, the hunger. Yes. Now both of them have that. Alright, well done. We've got the... Oh, all characters faction might get armor. That's a nice defeat trait to potentially get several copies of. Anyway, looks like we're heading back... Oh. The Nurglite corruption is still rampant here, isn't it? Alright, fine. Go around like this. You will heal... Oh, you will not heal in Black Fortress. Aww. I guess we will encamp and move this way then to Pig Barter. We'll have to hunt Kugat down once again. Well, actually, no, we'll probably just auto-resolve what remains here. But anyway, go this way. We got the Hunger on Chitin Convoy. You don't need that Ranger's Axe. That will certainly come in handy in another place. Digga, you have a Skink Prophet. We will save that for our recruiting skinks if we, well, need to. Dragonbane Gem, a new regional power Camry. Huh, good job, considering they've been fighting a lot. I take it this guy's gonna run, but we can have the Slan hunt him down. Do this. And then technology research, good. Oh, ammunition for skinks. That's nice in at least several armies, though admittedly I haven't really seen them run out of ammunition. Tehenwan, take Great Turtle Isle now. Nothing should die. And occupy, and Moment of Truth. Ooh, Armor of Destiny, not for you, but I was going to give that to Tiktak rather than his current shielding thing, so it's probably a good option. And ow, this one hasn't reached it, but that's okay. You three are now Sauropod riders, which by the looks of it have skinks riding them, so it's good. And I was interested in these guys as well in terms of how they work, in terms of their range damage. It does look like they have a fair bit, but their stats, melee attack and defense at least, are decent, though their armor is relatively low. I wonder if this is a unit that you're supposed to sort of get behind the enemy and then fire into the enemy backlines. We shall see. I'm interested in how they function. Just gonna have to find ourselves a nice fight to do so. Digga, you will go after this guy, and I guess you can also reinforce more levels on the Slan after all. Like so. And I should have moved the oh wait, that was last turn. And Digga, go. he's not dead. He still has one little territory remaining, just not for long, let's say. Alrighty, and then you can take the money. Alright, perfect. Assured assailant. These guys are going to, over time, slowly melt away due to attrition. And, yeah, I didn't realize that... Yeah, Rakarth could have very well attacked this army. And before they had the hunger, this would have been, you know, dangerous. Oh, I guess we could get you the Rangers X, couldn't we? You know, we'll take a look afterwards. Certainly something to think about. Also, we got more spawning sequence, so we can get more units in the armies that need them. Let's take a look at the Confed thing. Minus 23 on the last defenders, minus 24 on Heshwatla, and minus 35 on Spirit of the Jungle. Well, maybe one of them eventually. I was hoping that this would be enough. We just need them to get into more wars, but, well, the last defenders, I don't see getting them easily to be able to join any. Oh, Poxmakers are nearly dead. We could give them 26,000 gold, but the money would make them stronger and allow them to recruit, so it would kind of, you know, counteract that. Anyway, folks, we're out of time. I'm going to call the episode here. Next time we continue moving to wiping out the Tzeentchans, and by the looks of Lantern of Lies, might get a decent fight out of it as well, with more Nova engine action in it. Their debut was pretty fun this time around, and we'll work on getting the Duradon upgraded to tier 6 and therefore getting their stuff as well. Now what I want to just quickly see is, so Skulltaker moved out to Burgun. You know what, let's let them keep fighting the Bretonnians, and we can wipe out the Chaos Dwarfs first here at Temple of Kara, and then we will... we'll deal with Skulltaker after. Give us another turn to recruit stuff, potentially. This all gets auto-resolved because it's garbage. And... wait. It was level 5 we were waiting for, right? Right? I'm not excited for nothing, right? Ooh, free Curse Charm of Tepok. Anyway, yes, 2 of you are rank 5 unit upgrades, and you got Turtle Gunners now. Yes, alright, so Sauropod Riders and Chirpin Gunner teams are on the field, and this one will join in soon. And we'll get 2 more Turtles in here as soon as we complete the expedition to just immediately get more Gunner teams, because I'm not waiting a million years for the other Turtles to get upgraded. Anyway, on that great note, I'm calling the episode here. Next time, we attack Skulltaker from pretty much 3 directions at once, so wipe him out, and then we'll see what we want to do about whatever else it is that we want to do, and where we want to do it. Gonna have to give some thought to just sort of stopping our advance, not declaring war on any new units, but just taking a little bit of time to get the expeditions completed, so that we can unlock the missing units, but also obviously fight to try out other units that we have. It's not like we're hurting for territory. Oh, there's a Skull Island here before we land. What is this? We have a Tomb King faction here. Huh. I do wonder whether we want to land here and kill them all. It is yellow territory, so not necessarily, but it's certainly something to think about. Oh, the northern provinces are all the way out here? Wow. Good job to them. They have certainly made it far, though I expect that, at least in part, was due to various confederations. I'm actually quite impressed with Cathay in this particular campaign. They did not get obliterated. They usually have a pretty bad time against the Skaven and the Dark Elves and the Chaos forces here, but not this time around. Very interesting. I wonder if the Lizardmen going south contributed to that in any way. But anyway, I digress. Just having fun, so it makes me ramble sometimes. Stay tuned for more Tiktaq'to. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. Next time, hopefully, we'll check out the Sauropod Riders and the Chirpin Gunners and whatever else. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.